Hi all, welcome to Geeks for Geeks. My name is Nitin Kaplas. Let's talk about today's problem. Our problem name is minimize the difference. Let's read the question first. Here we are given an array of size n. We have to remove a subarray of size k, right? Such that the difference between the maximum and minimum value of the remaining array, it's minimum, right? Find the minimum value obtained after performing the operation of the removal of the subarray, right? And we have to return that minimum value. So if you see here, the first example is n equal to 5 and k is 3. Here we are given an array, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our minimum difference in the maximum and minimum value in all the iteration of this array is 1. In the example 2, we are given n equal to 6 and k is 3, and our array is 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, 7. Here the output is 2, right? Let's see how we can solve this question and what they ask from us. So let's take the example second for better understanding the problem. So this is the example, right? So it simply tells us that you have to remove this subarray of size k, right, which is 3. Let's remove these 3 elements first, right? And we have to take these 3 elements and we have to find the minimum among this remaining elements and the maximum among these 3 elements, and we have to subtract the maximum and minimum. So if you see here, what's my minimum here? Let me write minimum here is 4 and maximum here is 7. So if I make the difference between these two things, what's the answer is? Let me store here in the answer, which is 3, right? I want minimum answer, right? So if I do further steps, let me take another iteration when I equal to 1. I am at here, right? In this case, I take this 3 array, right? This array. So in this case, I can use this element, or this element. So if you see from the remaining array elements, my minimum is 2. Let me replace my 2 in this case. What's the maximum here? 7. So what's the difference is 5, which is greater than my original answer, right? So I don't want to update this answer. Let's go further. When I'm at this case, right, I equal to 2. In this case, I remove these 3 elements, right? I have these 3 elements left. I have to select the minimum. What's the minimum here? 2. What's the maximum? 7. Difference is 5. I don't want to update in this case also. Let's go further. Now, when I am at this case, right, I equal to 3. In this case, I remove these 3 elements, right? I have these 3 elements left. What's the minimum here? 1. Let's update minimum here, 1. What's the maximum here? 3. Let's update maxi is 3. What's the difference between these two is? 3 minus 1, which is 2. So my original answer here is 2, 3. I have to update because 3 is bigger than 2, right? So here I am update my answer. So if you see, I don't have any other subarray. If I go further, I equal to 4. I don't have size of array 3 right here. So here I am stopping. So this is my stopping case, right? So as you see, my output in this case is 2. This I have to return, right? I hope you understand the question here. So how we can solve this question? So what's the maximum iteration in this we can go? So maximum iteration here is, if I write the pseudo code here, let me write here pseudo code, which is maximum I can go here, right? Which is n minus k, right? And inside this, if I add here maxi value, for example, maxi is minus infinite here and minimum is infinite here. Inside this, if I am at here, for example, just imagine this case. When I am at this case, for example, at this case, you can surely understand what I am doing here. So when I am at this case, I equal to 2, I want to delete this 3 elements. So in this case, I have remaining these 3 elements. Okay, I have to update maxi and minimum from these 3 elements, right? So what I am writing here is for loop where j equal to 0 to j equal to n, whole I am traversing, but here I am writing a condition to update maxi and minimum. Okay, what I am writing here, if my j is less than I, right now my I is here, okay, my I is at this place, right? So I can take this two elements, right? It means that if j is less than I can update my maxi and minimum, right? Or if j is greater than or equal to I plus k, it means that I can use this element, right? So which is I at 2. So k is 3, which is 5, right? So 5 is this. I can use all the element in the right side of it. If here 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, any elements are there, I can use. So these are the three elements which I don't want to use. So this is a simple condition. Inside this, I just update my minimum and maximum. After completing this loop, I just update my answer as I am doing in the previous dry run case. Here I am writing minimum of answer and maxi minus minimum, right, in this case. And at the end of it, I just return my answer. Okay, so this is a simple pseudocode. Here you can also write here my answer initially is, right? I want minimum, so I take maximum here, right? So in this case, what's the time complexity of this solution is? Time complexity, as I am using two loops, so here my complexity is big of n square, right? But if you see the constraint of this question, so here we have to do this problem in big of n time, right? We have to solve in big of n time. How we can solve this? Let's see the second approach. Here again I am taking the same example, 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, 7. Let's check it's right or not. 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, 7. Okay. So in this case, what I'm doing is I just use the first solution, right? A little bit I am using the first solution. Okay, just do the dry run of first solution so you can visualize why we are doing this approach in second solution and how it's working fine, right? So what I'm doing is, here my first step is I'm creating a suffix array or said suffix maximum array, right? Second thing, I'm also using here suffix minimum array, right? Why we are using these two, you can surely understand why we are using here, right? Let's first make this suffix array. So let me write here maxi or say as post maxi, right? Its name is post maxi in this case. So let me fill this. So here this is post minimum, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so the last element is simple, it's 7. In this case, what's the maximum of 6 and 7, which is 7? Let me replace this. What's the maximum of 4 and 7, which is 7? So in this case, my post maxi is 777. If I am fill post minimum, here in the first case, I have 7, right? In second, at index 4. Between 6 and 7, what's the minimum is? 6. Let me write here 6. So further, if I go further, 4 and 6, what's the minimum? 4. Further, 1. Here 1, here 1. So this is my post minimum array and post maximum array, or say as suffix max and minimum array. You can say anything, right? Now we have to find, if you clearly see in the first iteration, let me write here again this array 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, 7. Just see the first iteration what we are doing in the previous solution. When I am at equal to 0, what do you see here? When I am deleting these three elements, right, I find maximum from these three elements, right? So if you see here, what is maximum here? This is 7. Maximum here is 7. What's the minimum here is? Minimum is 4. So we can solve, we can find, we can extract the minimum and maximum at this index in post maximum and post minimum, right? Because we are just doing the suffix post max in this case. If you see, when we are filling this array, we are finding here in this place what's the maximum between these three elements, which is 7. And if you see this case, what's the minimum between these three elements, which is 4, and we are storing that minimum maximum in this arrays, right? So we can easily calculate here in the first case what's the minimum here between these two, right? 7 minus 4, which is 3. Let me update my answer here, which is 3, right? Okay, simple. Now let's go further. When I am at I equal to 1, in this case, I am deleting these three elements, right? And I can use this element, or this element, right? If you see here, from these two elements, I want minimum and I want maximum, right? So I can use this suffix array, right? So this index give me maximum of these two elements, right? And this index give me the minimum of these two elements, 6 and 7. So I can easily find out in the when I am equal to 1 what is minimum and what is maximum. Let me write here. My here maximum here is 7 and minimum here is 6, right? But here the condition is I also have to calculate. I also want to add this index also, right? If you see here, my 2 is the minimum, right? So here what I am doing is I am tracking minimum and maximum from left side also, right? So in this case, when I go I equal to 1, here I have to track. Let me write here P minimum, or say as left minimum. Let me write left minimum here. So left minimum in this case till now is the first element, which is 2, and left maximum till now is 2, right? This is my minimum, this is max, and this is minimum, right? So in this case, when I equal to 1, I have minimum and maximum, but I also want to take these this element also. So here I am just doing maximum of maxi, which is 7 and 2. What's the maximum between these two? Which is 7. So this is my maxi till now. What's the minimum? Minimum equal to minimum and left minimum, which is 2. 2 and 6, what's the minimum? 2. Let me replace here 2, right? So right now I just do the difference here, which is 5. So I don't want to update my answer, it's 3, right? Let's go further. Before going further, what I am doing is I update. Now I have to go to this place I equal to 2, right? When I am at I equal to 2, so I want to delete these three elements. So this suffix will give me the answer, right? From the right side. But from the left side, I also want to update this. Left mini equal to left this or this, which is 2 remaining. Maximum here is 3. Let me replace here 3. Right now, when I am equal to 2, maximum from right side suffix give me 7 and minimum also giving me 7. But here if I compare this left and maximum, left mini and left maxi, so maximum is still 7, minimum is update, minimum is here 2. Again here my answer here is maxi minus mini is 5, so I don't want to update in this case also, right? Okay, so when I go further, now I am at equal to 3, right? See, when I am equal to 3, this is over. Before going further, I have to update this also, right? From this case, what's the minimum here from the left side? Minimum is 2 or 1? It's 1. Let me update 1 here. What's the maximum here? Which is 3, right? So I update this 2 also, right? When I go further, when I am equal to 3, I have only these 3 elements left, right? So in this case, my P max, or say as left max, is 3, left minimum is 1. If I take the difference between these two is, which is maximum here is 3, minimum here is 1, so difference is 2, right? So I have to update my answer, which is 2 now. Now it's over. So at the end of it, my output in this case is 2, right? I hope you understand the intuition. So let me code this and you can see what I am doing in this case, right? So first step is First step is we have to write the suffix max and suffix minimum array. Let's write this. So I am here writing post max, which is of size n, and post mini, which is again the size of n, and the last element of it, post max of n minus 1, is the array of n minus 1, right? Post min of n minus 1 is array of n minus 1, right? Now, when I fill this last element, I have to fill another array also, another elements also, from I equal to n minus 2 to I greater than equal to 0, I minus minus. So here I am updating this. So post max of I equals to max of array I, or post max of I plus 1, right? Same with minimum also. Post min of I equals to min of array I, or post min of I plus 1. So simply we are just filling the post max and post mini array, right? After the filling is, now I have this array right now, right? I am filling this array. Now this is the first step, right? Let's do this. So right now I am declaring a variable which is answer, right? So what's my answer here is, when I equal to 0, so it give me post max of k minus post min of k, right? Now I'm filling this. After that I just traverse I equal to n, I equal to 1 to I n minus k. Inside this, before going further, I also want to track the left mini and left max. So let me write here, left mini equals to array of 0 when I am equal to 1. So only one element is there. So I am just writing that left max, which is array 0, right? Now inside this I am finding the minimum value. Let me write here mini equals to, which is min of post min I plus k, or left mini, right? Same case we have to calculate the maximum value. So maximum is max of post max I plus k, or from the left side. What's the left side is? Left max, right? So now I have, when I equal to 1, I have mini and maximum value. So here I have to update it. So answer is min of answer, or maxi minus mini, right? Now at the end of it, what I am doing is I just update my left mini and left max, right? I have to include I in the left max and left minimum, right? So my left mini is minimum of left mini or array I, right? Same case with left max is max of left max or array I, right? Now at the end of it, when we are reaching this, if you clearly see my dry run part, if I am reaching here, I don't have any access further, right? I have to delete these three elements. Only left minimum and left maximum will give me the original max and minimum value, right? So what I'm doing here is, at the end of it, my answer is min of answer. So here I am updating left max minus left min, right? And at the end of it, I just return my answer, right? So let's check it's working fine or not. Yeah, compilation is working. Let's submit this. Yeah, as you see, all the cases are passed. So I just want to tell a little bit more. So here in the first step, I just created the post max or shares suffix max and suffix minimum array. And in this two lines, I just update my last value, right? As you see, we have to first fill the last elements, right? And in this for loop, we are just filling my post max and post minimum sub array, right? Now, when I equal to 0, I manually check what's my answer here, right? And when I am equal to 1, I have to neglect I equal to 1 means first element, second element, third element. But I can take I equal to 0 in my minimum and maximum value. So that's why I am taking the tracking of that. Left mini, left maxi, right? So here I am updating my post. I am taking the value from the post max and post min, and just updating my, also comparing with the left min and left max, right? So here I am updating my minimum and maximum value. So here I am just doing the updating the answer, right? At the end of it, I just update my left mini and left maximum. At the end of it, I just update, because at the end of it, I only left with left max and left minimum value. So at the end, I just return my answer, right? So what's the time complexity here? If you see, we are just traversing the loop here and here, right? And I'm using the extra space as this two array. So simply here, my time complexity is big of n plus big of n, which is big of 2 into n, which we can say that big of n. Same with the space. So space is 2 into n we are using here, which we can say that big of n, right? So I hope you understand the solution and intuition. Thank you so much.